it's not funny. It's unfortunate because they're talented. But I don't know, to be told you're not talented enough is like, oh shit.
Man.
That's harsh, man.
All right, let's knock into this guy. What do you say?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Jameson on the Rocks podcast. Today I have with me Mr. Nick from the Orange Constant.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, man?
Yeah, doing well.
Funny story about the name of you guys' band. When I first heard about you guys in Athens, I thought you guys were the Orange Contestant. Have you ever heard that before? Anybody ever said that to you?
We have gone through, I mean, I can't tell you how many times we've been called Orange Crush, Orange Theory, like any popular
Orange
name
Theory,
that has orange in it, we just get lumped into. That must be those guys, right? No, dude, Orange Contestant is not the first time.
Not the first time? Okay. See, it wasn't on purpose. I said it to one of my buddies. I was like, we should go see this band, Orange Contestant. He was like, who the fuck are you talking about? Orange Constant?
What a ripoff, man.
It's like, no, man, what are you talking about? But now I have it right. I've seen you guys a couple times. Seen you guys at the theater. Really love what you guys do. Very, I don't know what genre. Actually, let's get the whole origin story from you before I get into what I think about you guys. But so go ahead and tell me, you play guitar and sing, correct? You do a little singing, background?
I do a little singing.
Gotcha.
I'm definitely not the lead singer, but you know, at this point, I mean, everybody basically sings. Sam doesn't really sing a whole lot, but he does have a few moments on the record that he kind of has these. So if you listen really, it's like, oh shit, that's Sam back there. Yeah.
What a guy.
So at that point, all 5 members have a vocal performance of some kind.
Yeah,
so
I love that. That's so
exciting.
awesome to me. Like the Eagles and Beatles and everybody. You know, I love it when everybody sings. I think that's so cool. You know what I mean?
What's crazy is when I really started thinking about the amount of bands that have like dual singers of some kind, it really started to grow. And then you start realizing the caliber of these bands. Recently, I've gotten into the Doobie Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a really cool coincidence. You know, I inherited a lot of my grandfather's records.
Yeah.
He didn't know what. He's like, all right, I don't have a player, so here you go. And as I'm flipping through, I'm trying to just like, which is fascinating. If you ever inherit records from a family member, it's like you get this, you know, okay, well, this is what my grandfather was buying in the 70s, which would put him in his 30s. So I was like, oh, okay, so what was... You know, what were you doing? Yeah, and I got really into that. And so one of his records was Minute by Minute by the Doobie Brothers. So
is that the one with Jesus is Just All Right?
It's not on that one, but the actual song Minute by Minute is on there. And then there's it's such a bummer I can't think of the name. There's an instrumental track near the end. There's some great riffing on. I mean, the record really blew me away.
I'm gonna have to listen to this one.
It's groovy too. You know, it's got like it's got that 70s like just kind of this very back and forth. Ebb and flow to it. You know, and Michael McDonald does a lot of that singing on it, and then when the other singers do come in, it just your whole record just opens up. It's like, oh, there's a new voice, there's a new.
It's like it's literally another instrument, kind of like it just makes you more like I feel like, I hate to say it, but like a one singer band is often one dimensional. Well, that's not fair to say, but you know what I mean. Like it just adds another dimension when you have great background, like Beach Boys, I don't know, Van Halen, Tom Petty, any of those bands, they have great background vocals. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
And we've really, that has become a bigger role in the band more and more, especially with Chris on keys has really stepped up, and
I love that.
Kind of just was like, hey man, I think I can help the band in this way, and has really helped the harmonies.
Are you guys doing harmonies mainly, or just like doubles, like singing the same thing, or it just varies?
Everybody kind of has their role. Honestly, Chris and Tyler are great harmony duos. Like they seem to do a lot more of that. I've kind of fallen more into a doubling role. Yeah.
Well, you're busy on the guitar, aren't you? Busy fella.
Yeah, and typically because Andrew also plays guitar and sings, I've also found myself in more active guitar parts during some of those moments. You know, I'm not typically, when the chorus comes, you know, I might be doing something a little more active. Yeah. Whereas Andrew might be
texture.
Thinking, Andrew's thinking more chords because he's kind of got the vocals.
Yeah, he's kind of busy.
Kind of busy. That's right.
That's cool though. I love stuff like that, man. That's something we've been trying to work on in our band, is like making sure we're not just like power chording together the whole time. You know what I mean? Like doing something cool. I think you guys do that well. You guys have a nice, like, I won't say jangly, but would you say jangly? It's kind of jangly.
At times.
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. You know, a band that someone pointed out to me that does the doubling guitars really well is actually Weezer. When you listen to their record,
I can see that.
Big, man, dun dun dun, big guitars.
I like Weezer a lot. They're cool.
Really come at you. And those choruses hit. It's not always a rhythm and lead. It's just two guys just powering these chords at you.
They have good background vocals, I think. Don't
they
you
do
think?
another. Yeah, that's right. You're definitely the one singer, but the background vocals really add all that texture to it.
I'd say so. I love background vocals, man. I'd be like, sometimes I like singing the background vocals more than I do the main when I'm singing along on the radio or something, just because it's more fun sometimes.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's fun. So tell me how you guys got going. There's 5 of you. Am I wrong? 5. Okay, so you got keys, bass, guitar plus sing, and drums. All right, run me through every member and how you guys met and all that good stuff. Briefly, if you want, but you can take as much time as you need.
So, I'll start at the top. So Andrew and I met in college.
Okay.
And that would be in Statesboro, Georgia.
At Georgia Southern, I assume. Okay, cool.
Yep, absolutely. And so we met in this kind of first level, 101 music theory kind of stuff. Very, very
that's cool
rudimentary stuff.
Yeah.
But it was a good introduction to brushing up on any questions you might have had about the foundations of theory. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I meet Andrew in this class. We start kind of talking and jamming together, realizing one thing that was great about working with Andrew is I think we both kind of met at the same phase of guitar playing and songwriting. Like, it was something we were both into. We both were kind of dipping our toes more and more into what does it mean to write songs, like really full fleshed out songs, rhythm and leads. Where does all that fit in? And so I really think we grew together a lot in those early years.
That's great. Being at the same place is really
exactly.
nice.
It wasn't he's exceptional at this and I'm it, or it was just we're both kind of moving together at this.
That's
awesome. I thought that was really, really beneficial, actually. And so we start the band in Statesboro.
I didn't know that. I thought you guys were Athens based from day one.
This lineup is basically Athens based.
Gotcha.
Really, Andrew and I are the only two left of the original Statesboro days.
Gotcha.
We had a few member changes, everyone for various reasons. And so the whole band at that time, actually, once we graduated and then moved to Athens for the music scene, again had a lineup change, kind of one at a time. First,
it's inevitable, right? Yeah,
it is. Well, it's not, but it is. At that, you all enjoy the music so much, and people listening can't see, but I move my hands a lot. They're just this I constantly I don't ever know what to do with my hands, so they're just shifting all the time. Anyway. So, everyone's in it at that time because you love the music. And then as you grow, you get the reality of how am I going to pay for things? Rule number one. How am I going to live?
That's a good one, man.
Yeah, right?
I pondered that a time or two myself.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, God.
The world kind of settles in a little bit. And so things happen, man.
Yeah.
But first was Will. And Will was bass. And then Lee, our drummer at the time, met Tyler, and Tyler was actually interested in kind of being in a band. It sounded a little more serious. He was already in the band Harvey Funkwalker.
Harvey Funkwalker. I don't think I've listened to that.
I don't know.
Do they have anything out that I should check out?
Oh yeah, I think they got a Spotify for sure.
I will definitely give them a listen. I like to.
And that was a trio. So that was Adam Funk, Johan Harvey, and Tyler Walker.
Well, that makes sense.
Harvey Funk. It was a cool time.
That's a cool name. Yeah.
I thought the way that they put that together was really, really clever.
Yeah.
So they kind of had their thing. I don't think they were really looking into big tours or anything. They were at the time pretty stationary. Kind of were sticking to in Athens and Atlanta sort of thing.
Yeah.
So Lee ends up meeting Tyler. Tyler comes and jams with us, and then he joins. And it was really cool because we had very little backup vocals at the time.
Yeah.
And the first day we're jamming, we were already thrilled, oh sweet, this guy can play bass. We're in. This is a great sign. He's interested in the band.
Yeah.
He's our age, and that's a huge part of it.
Huge,
it's not this okay, who's a 45-year-old guy? What are we doing? Did he just bring a bottle of Jameson to practice? It's one practice.
I know
man.
exactly what you mean.
Yeah, so it's not even it's just Evan Williams, the worst thing. It's oh my
the
God.
cheapest thing you can get.
Yeah. So anyway, no, Tyler comes in, really cool, and we just happen to play every band. We know the song "Can't You See," and so we said, "Hey, can you sing?" And he goes, and very casually, he's like, "Oh yeah, I can sing a little bit." Oh, cool. We did not realize that before Harvey Funkwalker, Tyler was a lead singer of another band.
Oh, okay.
So suddenly we play "Can't You See," and he takes the second verse, and I just start I just remember my face lit up because it was just oh shit, he can sing.
Yeah?
We've got this is incredible.
That's awesome.
So from that point on, our idea what backing vocals could be, what second singers could be, all of that was we had talked about that earlier. All of that started developing from that first day.
That's
Tyler
awesome.
And Tyler took our band's vocal just identity to a new level as well.
That's crazy how it can do that too.
Oh, it absolutely did.
And you look at a lot of so many bands the members that ended up being key or something, they used to be lead singers and now they're playing the bass or now they're playing guitar, just singing background. That's huge, you know what I mean? Because they know what they have to do. You know what I mean?
Well, and awesome. it's really he put the detail in it where it's like, you know, we would play songs in the past and you'd always be like, oh well, yeah, that chorus sounds fine, and it's like maybe there's something missing, and then suddenly Tyler goes, oh no, what's missing is this. You know, when you listen to songs like Money for Nothing,
yeah, I love that song. Great
and
song.
you've got this, you know, well, Sting,
Money,
he's got this. You can't play that without that.
You can't, man.
And we used to, and then suddenly you play it with the right, and you go, oh my gosh.
Dude, I love the harmonies.
How many bars did we play that song without the backing vocals?
I want my
oh yeah, the whole 9 yards, and it was moments like that really opened up those songs, and
so
their full
so he'd be the higher register usually, right? Would you say?
Typically, yeah.
That's cool.
Which I find is really unique to bass players.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's
seems like it,
intentional or what the odds of that is, but it does seem like as you look through a lot of bass players, they're typically the high singers of bands, and I find that really
like Howie from Tom Petty, same thing, yeah. That's kind of cool though. Maybe it's just they're weird. That is weird. Now that you mention it, it seems like it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. We're gonna put a study into this.
We're gonna put some
our
research
top men.
Yes.
I know, exactly,
but I could totally see that. Yeah, I could probably name 5 or 6 if I had to. But yeah, that's cool. I love that. So that's Tyler, and then you guys. When does the move happen from Statesboro to Athens?
This had already happened at this point.
It already happens. Okay, cool.
So the 4 that left Athens were Andrew and myself, Lee, and Will.
Gotcha.
And that was, at that time we were only a 4-piece, and Andrew actually dabbled a little bit on keys.
Okay. Cool.
So we did have a few things like we always, I think, imagined keys would be a part of the band, but at this point they were never like a part of the band. Yeah. It was like, you know, if we had studio time, put a little organ on that. Oh, that's nice.
You're just happy to have 4 at this point, right?
Yes, exactly.
I know. I know that feeling.
So we were kind of doing our thing. We moved up to Athens, I think 2015.
Okay. So it's been a couple years.
I think something like that. Yeah. And then, you know, like I said, Will left maybe 6-8 months into being here. Yeah, because it had to be before the first lease was out. I don't know why.
Gotcha.
If I were to think of like how I thought of that year.
That's a good way to do it.
So anyway, so that happens, and that's when Tyler came in. And everyone's well, by the way. No one left the band with any ill intent. It was just everyone nice. Just kind of just was like, hey, I think my time has come. I'm gonna step out and do this thing. And it's like, all right, cool. And it was always, you know, we're all still friends.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's actually really, really.
That's
cool
actually pretty rare. So very nice.
Yeah, we were. We've been really grateful for that. Honestly, like everyone's been very cordial but there was never a reason not to be. It was always so honest. It was like, hey, I'm not in the headspace for this. And like, okay, well then that makes sense. Like don't have us drag you. And so it's like, and no one ever did that to anybody. So it all very cool stuff.
So I'm assuming somewhere around this time you guys meet Sam?
Actually, yeah. So then at this point we know Chris. Chris is in another band called Saturn Valley, and they're kind of doing their thing. Chris had sat in with us a few times. Yeah,
on the keys.
He was not like an official thing, but we definitely were gelling. I was like, this guy's got this is pretty sweet. And so Lee's with us. Lee is kind of, Lee had a master's degree in business and very intelligent guy. And was just like, hey, I think my time has come. My bell's being rung. Like I think I'm ready to see what else I can get into. And so Lee left, and Lee, man, very, very diligent person, made all these like videos of exactly how he was playing the songs, like down to the fills, like that, sat with Sam. Sam was, I think, 19 when he joined the band.
Really?
And Lee was probably 25, 26, somewhere in there, something like that. And so Lee was like really like excited for Sam and the band, and like was,
that's great, because people don't really understand how important the drummer is. You know what I mean? Dude. Like God, like it's like getting a new drummer is like starting over.
Oh my gosh,
in my experience, you know what I mean?
It was incredible. Like it's what I mean by that is like the difficult challenge at first of understanding. There's just an age difference. There's a style difference. There's a background. I mean, like Sam had a little bit more education in drumming than Lee did.
Gotcha.
And so it was really I can't explain it enough, dude. It's been incredible.
And you're so used to having played it the previous way that like when you come around, it's like once you get it right though, it's amazing. When you have the right guy back there.
What happens too is that you kind of just creep into a new style.
Yeah.
Like in a way. Like I do think in the beginning we were thinking we need to play these songs like we used to. But there was this reality that just kept sitting in that's like, but we're not who we used to be.
Exactly, yeah, I see that.
So why be that? And then once we shed that skin, that mentality, and really came into this, well, why don't we just play it that way? Let's think of it in that. Suddenly songs that we had played for, at that point, a couple years, you know, were turning into these 9-minute, like, holy shit, where are we going now? Like, but that's what our band has become.
Yeah.
It was so natural, that's like, great. Just like, and then finally, Chris, after we had made the movement to Sam, and really, I think that was another big turnaround for the band, because that was when the band really started jamming on what I think to be a new level. Yeah. Okay. Like, it was like, okay, we have two members that kind of came from a jam background, you know, Tyler and Sam.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, and I guess Sam's not really a jam background, but Sam's like jazz, which had a lot of improv and jamming in its own right.
Dude is so gnarly on the drums, dude. I watch all his Instagram videos. It's ridiculous, man.
He's a monster.
What's up, Sam? Are you watching? Yet? Sam will see this when he sees it, hopefully.
I hope so, man. I'm sure he will. Dude, he's incredibly.
He really is, man. I love watching his TikToks and Instagram videos. Dude's just crazy on the drums.
He did one. What is the one, Mr. Krabs in it?
Yeah, I like that one. The SpongeBob.
I thought that was awesome.
That was good. And then he did the one. It was like a 2000s pop song. What was it? Ah, man. He posted it like last week, but it's good. But everybody go follow Sam Groveman if you're watching this.
Absolutely.
Is that his name on Instagram? I don't know his name. But
I don't know either.
It should be Sam Groveman something. I think so. Sam Groveman on there. Check him out. But so you guys are all meeting, and at this point, you guys are jamming. What genre at this time do you consider yourself? Have you guys had any genre changes? Like, what do you consider yourself?
Man, that's just been that is an ongoing question.
It's a tough one, man.
Especially when I think at the and I've actually used this before, but I think at the core of the band, we're a rock and roll band. And I actually say rock and roll because and Tom Petty would say it too. He would be like, well, we're not just a rock band, you know. Yeah. There's some rolling to it. There's some. It's like he says rock is just too it's too hit. Yeah. It just hits too hard. Gotcha. He goes, no, man, we want to dance. Yeah. And that's where the roll comes from. I love that answer that he gave.
That's great. I love Tom Petty, man.
Oh, absolutely.
I absolutely love him.
I love the simple and complex nature of so much of his songs.
Oh my God. And his whole catalog is so consistently solid. You know what I mean? Like, dude can write a damn song, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll get into some Tom later. Let's keep talking about Orange.
So here we are. Our style is definitely changing. What would we consider ourselves? I think, again, at the core, we're a rock and roll band. 2 guitars, bass, drum, and keys. Like, that's that old school lineup, big lineup. You know what I mean? And then I think it gets deeper than that, because I think then you go, okay, well, what kind of rock and roll band? Well, that gets complicated, because I think we're at times we're a dance band. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
At times we're a reggae band. Yeah. You know, at times we're a jam band.
I saw you guys at the theater. You guys are hitting a lot of genres. You were knocking them all off pretty well. I was like, damn, I don't know what these guys are, but they're great.
What just happens, what's been cool about the band is, as it's grown, so has every member as a writer. And so now there's this welcomed attitude to just like, well, you wrote a song, let's check it out. And suddenly you're going, oh, well, that song, if you were to think of it as, it kind of sounds like this. You know, okay, well, that song sounds like this. You know, like typically if there's a reggae influenced song, it comes from Andrew.
Gotcha, yeah.
Not to say that all his stuff is reggae, but like typically that influence is something that he pulls the most from.
And when you say you guys are writing songs, are you guys saying like words and melodies, or like you talking about like Sam brings a drum part in, or somebody brings a key part in, or do you guys each write lyrics, or how does that work? I like to ask about the songwriting process.
That's a great question, and it's kind of it's all over the place, just like the songs themselves. I think. So, I mean, I think the best part, we could look at the last album. That'd probably be the easiest.
Peel.
Yes.
Yeah. Sweet.
We could dissect that one, like writer by writer. You can really hear. I think that's a great way. So Andrew, for example, an Andrew song would be Reliance.
I love that song.
You know, it was pretty fleshed out. I think all that was left was for the members to put their parts down.
Gotcha.
But with the influence of, hey, I kind of know that this is going to be this kind of style. Here's some ideas I have for the leads. Tyler kind of cracked at the backing vocals. I think with Andrew, they might have teamed up on that. I'm not sure. Okay. Or maybe it was all done in the studio.
So do you actually? So you didn't write it, but you don't know the story behind Reliance, Tennessee. He said, I assume that's a place, right?
Yeah,
do you know
the story? Place. Yeah. In the sense that like I know like the background that like it was somewhere that meant something to Andrew. Yeah. And somewhere that he had visited, and just over time. I think he'd gone there for quite a while, like including his childhood, and so I think that over time just kind of grew to have a lot of meaning for him. Somewhere that like he felt comfortable. Somewhere that he could like look back to as a great
I'd never heard of it, and I kind of liked it the first time I listened to it when I realized it was a place. I think that's cool. Like,
oh yeah, exactly.
Could have easily named the song Reliance, Tennessee, and I don't think that would have been as cool. But like the hook is nice in it and everything. So very cool. Andrew, if you're watching as well, I love the hook, man. Nice, good work.
Oh yeah, it's a great example of Andrew's really good at. That song for the most part is 3 chords. Like it has a few like there's one odd chord at the end.
I like the arrangement and everything. It's like very interesting.
You just take the same 3 chords, you find different ways to present it, you work with dynamics,
articulate things differently.
Okay, so that would be now another writer of the band would be Chris. So now take that 3 chord song and think of a song like Chronic. Same record is suddenly this much more of a composition. That's probably better. It's just more of a it has these like phases, and each phase is kind of a feeling and an emotion more than it is necessarily like melody. It's like Andrew thinks a lot more, and then so you get this. You can tell Andrew thinks a lot more of that on like Reliance, whereas you get this. Chronic is kind of this like so it opens and it has kind of this jazz wave, and you get a little bit of the lead, and then you kind of get some solos, and then you work your way into. This sort of we think of it as like an elevator, each as the elevator doors open, each floor is presenting this new scene.
That's a cool way to think of something.
You go up the next floor or down.
That's a cool way to think of a song. I've never thought of it like that. It's very cool.
And so the first scene is the smooth jazz. You're like, all right, here we are.
Vibing.
Yeah, everyone's grooving, right? And that concept, I don't know who thought of it, but I just remember we kind of started discussing it, and it just sort of became like how that song was thought of it.
I can tell there's like some pop sensibilities in some of them too. You know what I mean? Like not about like in a good way. You know what I mean? Like I can tell you guys know how to write arrangements well and all that good stuff and fun.
Which is
great.
I'm actually a fan of like Ace of Base and stuff. So and I know Tyler's a huge fan of like ABBA and things and like all that pop music is great music.
Great,
I think Tom Petty wrote pop songs.
He does. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like Nirvana wrote pop songs. Like they're all pop songs.
Yeah,
just how do you want to think?
I hate it when people say they hate pop. Like, come on, man. Like low key, like the Beatles are pop, and you know what I mean? Like any 3-minute song. Come on. But yeah, that's great. So continue on. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh no, you're fine. No, and so we're in Chronic. So then the next phase of Chronic after this kind of jazz era is you get into this like it's kind of darker. It's suddenly it gets a lot more minor, and you get this whole shift, and then it morphs from this nastier, heavier, really heavy distorted part into dancing. Now you're now you're suddenly like the doors have closed, you come into this new this is the dance scene. What's happening here? And then finally the song after
I like Banana.
Some ebb and flow. And that's the other instrumental on the record.
Yeah, I like that one. I think instrumentals are cool though. Like I'm totally into those. Like and you might as well, I mean like why not? You know what I mean? Every band has instrumentals laying around, I think, at least that they've got that like maybe the words didn't click on it or something. Just put it out. I love that. I like Far From Home. I love that song. That's a great one. How did that one start? Any details on that one, really?
So that one also is kind of an Andrew background one. It's an older song. The band had been playing that for a few years, but this arrangement kind of put its touch on it, added some parts. I think Tyler took a little more detail to the bass line.
Gotcha.
The keys, when the song was originally written, there was no keys, so everything that Chris added.
That's funny that you guys didn't have keys for a while. I can't imagine you guys without keys.
I
guess I've only seen you guys with keys, but like I can't imagine you guys not having keys because it seems so essential to you guys now.
Well, what happens to a guitar player? I've noticed when you're met with another guitar player and a keys player, is you just keep reducing your parts more and more.
I can see that.
When you're only 2 guitars, there's a lot more space that you can fill.
Yeah,
there's only so much. I feel like that sonically people want to listen to at a given time.
Yeah.
And with 5 musicians going all the time and Keys bringing in left and right hands, suddenly he's occupying a lot more space. And so I find that as a guitar player, you just kind of keep
tone it back,
minimalizing. Yeah, like maybe I'll just sit out. Just the whole verse. I got nothing to do.
That's very nice that you're willing to do that. And
when he'll do the same too.
Yeah, it's tasteful. You know what I mean? Yeah, when things change like that. I read something that like the brain can only focus on like 3 or 4 different sounds at once. You know what I mean? Have you ever read that? I don't know. It's like a production thing, but which is interesting.
What we kind of learned through school and what we've definitely noticed through like the just playing live is that there's a point where when it all comes at you at once, it is like nice, like you're enjoying it, but then there's a point like all things, it becomes overwhelming.
Yeah,
and so
gotcha.
Can't underestimate the value of dynamics. Like
so much, man.
Just bring it down, cut a member out, cut 2 members out if you need to, and then work. add them back one by one, and then suddenly you're at that big full sound again, and then just bring it all back down to a member or two.
That's very awesome. I'm glad you said that because I've been trying to work on that in my band and everything because we were a 3-piece and I was playing guitar and singing, and I didn't like that really. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of limited. I don't know. And when I stopped playing, it seems super quiet. You know what I mean? But now we have another guitar player who's awesome, and we're trying to find ways to make things more interesting. Pretty much exactly what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like somebody sit out a verse so that there's a jump when the chorus comes in, or maybe play something cool instead of power chords for both of us. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
Yeah, which is interesting. I'm glad you said that. That's very cool. And the keys, it really rounds things out though, man. It really does. It's very nice.
Because what's so great about keys is there's so much space they can fill. So like suddenly there's all these sounds. You know, guitars, like you can hit a big chord and that's great, but the keys can hit a big organ.
Yeah.
And suddenly the whole thing just, now your chord, oh shit, we're here. Like, I don't know. It's just
chorus.
Yeah, man. And the synthesizers. Like
I love synths,
you know,
man.
piano, electric pianos.
I love that.
You know, clavs. I mean, the whole 9 yards, man. You just start adding it all up, and it's like, keys are just...
It's huge, man. I mean, they're so diverse, too. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like you're saying, like piano, or like they can just program in their sound, and you got a whole different sound and song. That's awesome. I love keys. I love a band with some good keys in it. That's always nice. And you ever notice that sometimes, like when you're watching concert videos, I guess this is out of context, but like, and like it'll be like you won't hear something until the camera goes to them. Like you'll just be listening to a song, you'll just be like vibing to the words and guitar, and then it goes over to the keys player, and you see him like doing something. You're like, oh my god, that's so tasteful. I didn't even notice it till the camera went on him. You know what I mean?
That's so funny. We just did this live stream. I don't know if it's aired yet. Maybe no, actually, I don't think it's aired yet.
Yeah. What?
But
who is it with?
I should have. Dang, I should have come prepared.
No, you're fine.
That sounds terrible.
No, you're fine.
We definitely need to promote it.
We'll drop a link to it in the bio after this.
That's a great idea.
It is a good idea.
Right.
I'd love to see it.
Look for it in the link. Anyway, there's a moment where they're like, the guy filming it didn't quite catch exactly what you're describing, right?
Gotcha.
So it's like Andrew's soloing, and the guy just, and he thought I was soloing, so he's like looking at my foot, which is like stepping on a pedal. Meanwhile, Andrew's just crushing it in the background, right? But you don't even notice it till he finally gets up and sees Andrew, and then it's like, oh shit, there's the solo. I don't know, there's something. It's like I'm over there like hitting like a chorus or something. Like I'm not even like, you know, oh, is that my face or I'm turning on? Yeah, like
nice phase 90.
Yeah,
bro.
it looks like a Nike ad because all you see is the big swoosh.
Oh, love it, man.
That's by the way, the stream turned out great, but I should say that it was fantastic. There's some really cool shots, but that one I remember like laughing at.
I love to ask this too. How have you guys been liking the live streams? Have you guys done more than one?
Yeah, we've done a few. The first one was honestly one of my favorites, and that was because we were promoting Peel, so we did Peel from front to back.
That's awesome.
And it was a really good length. I think that was important because we didn't want to do like a 2-hour thing.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know, and then suddenly people like 45 minutes in, they're getting up, and so I think we only did about 40 minutes.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And that really, we think, kept people focused. It kept us. We just moved, man. Like song after song. Yeah, like we did transitions into some. We did some songs just like the record.
Are you guys like? Do you guys have like a full setup, or are you just like acoustic with a phone?
For this particular one, for the one I'm describing, that was a full blown thing. We did it at Livewire in Athens.
Oh, I love Livewire. I interned there. Very nice guys.
Yeah. Tyler used to bartend, so that was our connection's been building over the years. But when we met Tyler, he was a bartender there, and so we've over now like 4 years, whatever it's been. We've gotten
so if you don't mind me asking, did you guys like rent the place out, or you just said, hey, we're gonna come do a live stream if you guys are closed? Or I know the guys there are super nice.
Yeah, so we just talked to Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel's awesome.
And honestly, pretty low key, man. We just texted him, hey, it's something we've been thinking about. He had already been thinking about how he could help the community, not just us, but like, okay, what can I do? What can we do that's safe? Because this all happened in May.
Yeah,
there was a lot of questions in the air, like what legally can we get away with, and not to say that like we're like trying to. It was just more of like we don't want anyone to get sick. We didn't know the ramifications and like what the CDC was saying.
Of course, yeah.
So we did this live stream. The record had just come out. We did the live stream for the record and played it front to back at Livewire. Daniel was cool with the whole thing.
Great sound there, dude.
That's the thing is Brendan ran the sound live.
He's so talented at that.
And it was so cool. We had lights going the whole time. So we'd actually, and we did, I think 4 cameras is what we ended up getting.
You guys had a nice production then.
It really worked out. Yeah. It's on YouTube now. I mean, you can still check it out. Well, obviously,
I could drop a link to this too in the bio if anybody wants to watch. Do you know what the name of it would be on YouTube?
Oh, probably just the Orange Constant Peel. I think, what is it? Livewire sound, love music, maybe. I'm throwing all these kind of tags. One of those is gonna get.
I'll find it. I'll find it. I have faith. But yeah, that's awesome. I love Livewire, man. It's so fun. When I interned there, I learned so much about like sound and lights and like the whole progress and just nice people there, good vibes and everything. Very cool. So yeah, that's cool. Have you guys done any other live streams? Because I love asking about these because it's pretty relevant right now. And like I talked about it last time with Bradley. I think the future is going to be people live streaming their main shows too. And like just like why not? You know what I mean? Like you can hit a whole nother fan base that couldn't make it or whatever. You know what I mean? Anybody who's just on their phone on Friday night and live stream while you're playing at the theater and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh, we've definitely done. We've had some fans and friends. They're friends of ours, but they did like some live streams of like full shows. Yeah. But that would have been like pre-pandemic and those, you know, just kind of like
glory days.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it just feels weird saying pre-pandemic. But like that's
so crazy.
But it's totally the reality. We're like almost a year in.
Yeah.
How did we get here? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
How did this happen? Yeah. But yeah, that's awesome. I think live streams are cool, man. I've done a couple. I haven't done any full production ones. I'm trying to get into it. I'm trying to figure it out and everything. I might hit Livewire up. But like I've just done a few acoustic ones too. They've been so much fun. Like I just like put my phone on the stand and play some songs and comment back to people. Hey, how you doing? What do you want to hear? You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. And I mean, it's way better than not playing a show at all. You know what I mean? Because I love playing live and everything.
We did this like weekly session. I'm sorry, not week. Was it weekly? I think it was actually. Yeah, where we were adding a member. Yeah. So it started with just Andrew and I, and then we added Tyler, and then we added Chris, and then ultimately we added Sam, and we did that sometime in like June or July.
Where you guys were playing solo or
these were all acoustic. So,
okay, cool, cool.
This was just a way to, you know, honestly, through the pandemic, a lot of bands like ourselves were looking for content. Like we just need a way to talk to people. You
guys are really good at content. You guys put out a lot of quality content. I've noticed that about you.
Challenging, honestly.
It really is,
like,
man.
It is, and I have very little hand in any of that. Yeah. Like at best, I'm a vote because I'm.
Who's running the show on that? Do you guys have a specific member or a content creator kind of thing?
Yeah, the primary three would be Andrew, Sam, and Tyler.
Okay, cool.
I don't know. I think Sam does a little bit more of the Instagram with Tyler. I think Tyler and Andrew kind of look at the Facebook probably the most. Yeah. There's just so much. Chris might do the Twitter every now and then.
Gotcha.
If that's still even, relevant.
It's still a thing, man. Still a thing.
I honestly am the worst at it. As you could tell by my lack of.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, man. It's not for everybody, of course. Yeah. I just like doing it sometimes. Like, man, it's like this is more time I have to spend on my phone. You know what I mean? But like. It's cool. It's awesome. You guys do a really good job at it. Shout out to the other whoever's in charge of that. Yeah,
thanks guys.
You guys put out a lot of great stuff. They put out a good cover video this week. I like Sam's TikToks. I don't know if you've seen Sam on TikTok.
I've seen a few of them.
He posts most of SpongeBob ones and stuff like that. Like just ripping it on the drums in there. And I think stuff like that's really cool. It's way better than bands that go like 4 months and then they'll give you a single. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, cool.
Single it's 4 months. Actually. It's funny engaging. How we talk about it. Like, okay, well, what are we gonna do? Like we really need something. And then a couple members, maybe like you noticed that only 2 members were in the last little cover. It's like, well, they just kind of talked about it and were like, hey, we could do it. Sometimes Andrew and I have talked about stuff like that. It's just sometimes Tyler just was like, yeah, I learned the cover and I'm just going to play it. It's like, all right, knock it out, man.
That's awesome, dude. I think that separates you guys from a lot of bands that are just like maybe just play live shows or just drop music. You know what I mean? I think that's great. And videos, I like making videos, just like a little cover video or just like chopping up a show that we played and like dropping one song on YouTube. I love stuff like that. And I love for my favorite bands to do it. So that's cool. Yeah. So yeah, I forgot where we were going. What were we talking about? Peel? Oh yeah. We were talking about live stream. Let's keep going on Peel because there's a few more in there I really liked. I really liked Fading the Line. I wrote that one down. The drum solo or the little breakdown section in that one's really cool.
Man, and you know what's so funny is well, I guess that was more on Blackout. Is Sam? I'm gonna sidetrack because
go ahead.
I just wanted to talk about the true, like, this is how talented Sam is and how much he pays attention to what he's doing is there at the end of Blackout, there is this kind of drum solo thing. It's like happening while the band is still playing. It's just like the drums are almost soloing on beat with the band and it's really wicked, right? And everyone loved it. And Sam he's like, no, I think I could do better. and it was just this like, it honestly reminds you of these these like mad geniuses. It's like there's always a better take. We could do it in it, but it's so cool. Yeah. And I just want to give a shout out to that because
shout out Sam. And you guys ended up going with that, or did he fix it?
I think he did redo one.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly, but I think we went with it. I'm pretty sure we did. and it's because I think it's wicked. I mean, it really, and it is also complicated. If the drums had been broken down, I can't remember all the, maybe some of the mics had been taken down or whatever it was to recapture all that. But
I'm gonna have to listen to that. I don't think I noticed. I definitely listened to that song, but I don't know if I noticed the drums at the end.
It's like it's maybe the last like 20 seconds. There's these really cool.
Sweet. I like to just the whole thing. Really, I think Reliance is probably my favorite. It's super catchy. Far From Home is probably my second favorite. Fade in the Line coming in number 3. But Banana's really cool.
So you really like Andrew's writing.
I do like
those
Andrew's
would all
writing.
be Andrew's writing.
Well, I wouldn't have known that until you told me.
Well, no, and by all means, like we all write as a band, but everybody, like it's like, hey, this is what I've broken down, I've got this, but like adding the drum part on Fade in the Line and all that was like, that's band writing.
That makes it orange.
But he came in with like the melody and the chords and like, okay, this is what I'm thinking.
That's awesome. That's cool that you guys are versatile like that. I like that everybody writes too. That's kind of along the same lines as everybody singing to me. Like it just makes things more versatile and two-dimensional.
Well, and I think at the start of all this, we had talked about like the difference in band songs. So then songs like Go is a band-driven song.
I can see that. Yeah.
And I think that's what's funny because you could tell it's got all the harmonies on it. It kind of goes through these unique phases. Sam came in with, and actually Sam started this band song. Sam's an incredible writer. You saw him play guitar.
Yeah, I'm amazed he could play guitar that well.
Oh yeah, Sam's he's just a great musician. Yeah, really, really strong guy.
That's awesome.
And so he came in with kind of this idea of this like kind of a 5 count riff, dun 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 dun, and then Andrew I think picked at it a little bit, and then it gets presented to the band, and the band starts picking at it, adding the arrangement became that song is pretty uniquely arranged. Like we really had to work on that.
I could see it being like a band production, kind of like now that you say it, it makes sense. Like it's got everything kind of happening.
And it started with this like, it's in this odd time signature, and then we try to like level it out and bring it to 6/8, and then ultimately it kind of ends with this big solo that ends up with harmony guitars, and like you said, it really has.
It's got everything.
It's got the harmony vocals, the harmony guitars. Like everybody's got to say in this song,
So you guys seem really easygoing. Like, do you guys ever have any like someone presents a song and everybody's just like, no, we're not doing that. Does that ever happen? Time to time? Yeah. Okay.
We're a band. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's never like that. It's never that brunt. But there are times where there are just songs that aren't.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, and now it's harder than ever to write. With COVID, we kind of took time off. We weren't really sure of like, hey, are we supposed to be getting together? Like, does everyone need to? We don't really have shows. Maybe we should just take this time to just be a little cautious. Okay, sure. So we didn't do as much practicing as we typically would throughout like, May,
usual,
June, and July,
you guys are usually busy.
Right, exactly.
Right? Yeah, summertime.
We're on the road, we're doing stuff. So this was kind of like, oh, okay, well, that's weird. As we move forward and we're starting to get back into it, and I guess this year is a little unique, but,
for sure.
it just happens. Now, every song gets a chance. So we should always say that every song gets a chance. But sometimes it's just not jiving. And you just, you kind of like feel it. I don't think anyone's ever in anyone's face about it. It's just like, hey,
it's usually obvious, I'd say, right?
It's like maybe the songwriter themselves the song isn't really fleshed out, and now the band's like scrambling to figure this song out, but the songwriter doesn't really know what they want. And so then, and that's happened even to myself. You come in with like half parts, and then you're like, oh, I got a song, and it's like, well, that's not. Like, well, now what? And you look at the band going, and then we could write a bridge, and we could write a pre-chorus, and the band's like, well, okay, I mean,
maybe
so is
you
this
just
on
have
us?
a riff,
is this on us now? Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's I struggle with that too. Writing to riffs, I haven't really figured out how to do that quite yet, but that's cool that you guys are all open to it. I think everybody being allowed to participate is great. And what was I going to say about that? Actually, let me check the camera right quick, just to make sure we're still recording and whatnot. Give them a little wave for the camera. Beautiful, love it.
Hey, Mom.
What's up? So yeah, all right, back to what I was saying, or what you were saying. Where was I going to go with this? I had something I was going to say. So you guys all right, but yeah, does anybody come in? This is what I was going to say. Does anybody come in with like full songs, like done? This is how we're doing it, or do they just bring the words and the melody per se and say, all right, let's make this an Orange Content song?
Yeah.
Or I mean, obviously it varies, I guess. So
yeah, I think. What happens is, so you see what had happened was. No, for example, like I'm gonna use as many examples from the new album. So for like what you're asking for is one that I had a heavy hand in, and what happens is I am not the keys player that Chris is.
Gotcha.
So maybe I have a lot of ideas fleshed out, like even dynamic, like, hey, I think the first chorus should be this mellow. I think the second chorus we could do this to kind of like, even if I have ideas for that, I can't play drums like Sam can play drums. So I can suggest, and I think that's as close as you can get. Like you can you can get to like 60% with our band, but the odds of you having 100% song, that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah,
I mean, you know,
that's good. I think that's cool.
Yeah, maybe 70, but I
70.
There's 30% of the band in every at least. Gotcha. Like I would say.
Well, that's awesome, man. That's super cool. That's good to know too. I like that.
And again, it's like you can go, oh, well, what about like an organ part here? And then Chris goes, he'll do it, and then suddenly he adds that Chris thing, and you go, oh, well, that's actually, you know, that could be the lead. So now you're thinking like, I didn't think about that. So now, okay, well, wait a minute, if we did, then suddenly, you know, that song that you thought you had 100% of, someone else's talent.
It's tough
really
sometimes, man, because it feels like you go in there and you know exactly what it needs to do, and then like it kind of like somebody suggests something, and you're like your brain kind of like there's like a tension there. You're like, oh, I kind of expected it to be like this, but I've tried to let go of that. You know what I mean? Just like let everybody do their thing, which is great.
And dude, it's something I think everybody struggles. I think everybody has that like so. You know, like we do try to in every writer's situation to at least like humor the songwriter. Like, okay, well, you know, if you think this, then we'll try this first, no matter what, and we'll give it a good run. You know, Rick Rubin has a great thing where he says, you really can't say no to any idea until you've heard it. He's like, because honestly, sometimes when people describe ideas, they sound fucking terrible. And you're just like, that is never going to work. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And it's suddenly